Thank you for waking up with Happy Ass, where we come together to go in mind, body, and spirit so we can make life brighter and sweeter for ourselves and for others. I am so glad you're here. Y'all, I had not planned on doing a live this morning or doing a little podcast, but I wrote my love note last night about, actually, I didn't write it last night. I wrote it this morning when I woke up and realized that it was Wednesday, the day it was due. I had been usually writing it by Friday or Monday. Last week, I woke up on Thursday and realized it was no longer Wednesday. This week, at least I caught myself on Wednesday. So I wrote about how the mind-body connection. I talked about how there's a book called Body Keeps Score, and I've talked about it before, but it's so important. And I also use the example of, to this day, and when I walk into my house and all the lights are turned off, and I do not like lights turned off. I want every light in the house on. In fact, if I go to your house and you don't turn on the lights while I'm there and I'm sitting in your dark living room, the whole time I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, God, can I turn on the lights? Can I turn on the lights? I know that sounds crazy, but that's one of my little things. I do not like dark rooms unless I'm supposed to be sleeping. And if it's during the day, I don't want all the lights off. I want them all on. I want every light in the house on. I want to know when I walk in that I am greeted with bright light. Okay, so I got a little crazy there with that little monologue. But I love for things to be lit up. So I walk in the house and the house is dark because everybody's trying to save energy. Hugh used to do that. You know, he would have all the lights off when we were gone. And I finally told him, I said, listen, honey, I said, I really don't like walking into a dark house. I want it just to light me up. So we stopped doing it. But it automatically triggered that place in me that said, oh my gosh, my power's been turned off. I've got to drive across the bridge. I've got to go get my power turned back off and on again, because used to, you would have to drive across the bridge. You know, you can't call an AI generated person to turn it back on. But even back then it wouldn't matter because I wouldn't have the money. I had to wait till I got the money to turn it back on. So, but now what I do in those brief moments, yes, it triggers me in that brief moment. But what I do now, I flip it. I use positive triggers to bring joy to my life and more peace to my life. For example, and I don't remember where I heard this from. I know there's a guy named, I wrote it down. What's his name? Shoot. His name is Sean Aker. And Sean Aker was the author of the book, Happiness Factor. And I may have this wrong, so I'll put it in the show notes. But he did write a book about how we can use positive triggers to change the way we view things. And so for me now, what I do when I come home and maybe the lights are turned off for just a brief moment, I feel that. But then I'm automatically go, thank you, God. Thank you, God, I'm not there anymore. Thank you, God, that I am not worried about that anymore. But I also say a little prayer for people who are worried about that. That's why I'm so tender and compassionate to people who are without. I have a lot of friends who say, well, you make your own bed, you lie in it. I don't know that we all have the same opportunity. That is not true, y'all. That is not true. All of God's kids do not have the same opportunities. We're born in different places. We're born with different parents. We have so many things to overcome. So I think to let compassion be our guide. I posted something this week that Bob Goff said. He said, perhaps people don't need your opinions. Perhaps they just need a friend. Maybe they just need an uplift. I wear a shirt yesterday that said uplift and inspire. And that's what I think about, that everything we do should uplift and inspire others. Well, I went off track, so let's go back on. Oh, another thing that happened to me this week, and it's in my love note, is I went to the gym, and for just a single moment, my key card didn't work. It didn't work. The red light went off. And immediately, without thought, y'all, without thought, my body went to that place of recoil that, oh my gosh, my check bounced or my payment didn't go through. I no longer have a gym membership. But in that same breath, I went, oh my gosh, thank you, God. Thank you, God, that this gym is here for me every single day, 24 hours a day, for me to work out and move my body so I can be of greater service to others. And I feel better about myself, to be quite frankly with you. So I have learned to develop positive triggers. So here are some of mine. Some of mine are, I say things like, every time I walk through a door, something good is going to happen to me. Okay, another one is my reverse paranoia, where I say, everywhere I go, someone wants to help me. Everyone's always out to help me. Another one that I say is, oh my gosh, I always find a parking space. Oh my gosh, things are always working out for me. These are the soundtracks that are in my heart and in my mind, and I've developed them over the years. And this is the cool thing about that. I wasn't born that way. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. I think I was born with a little bit of optimism. I think I was born with a little Bob Goffness, a little Zig Ziglarness, little John Maxwellness, but life has given me a lot of reasons to not be that way. So when I was young, I've told the story about the fact that after my father stopped drinking, all the emotions of all the years of living in the trauma of the alcoholism in my home, I became physically ill. But it seemed to have I manifested with physical illness, but we didn't know where it came from. And it's weird because it occurred after my dad got sober, not during it. During it, I was a trooper, y'all. I was Katie Bar the door. I was the unsinkable Molly Brown. I was conquering it. I was making straight A's. I was a people pleaser. Still working on that one. But after my dad got sober, I fell apart. I was sick. I hyperventilated. So many things. Thank God we had a few not so good therapists along the way, and I may talk about that one day, but that's really a hard one for me to talk about. That's why I'm so intentional about who I let get into my mind. I'm intentional about what kind of TV I watch. I'm intentional about the kind of people I hang around. I'm intentional about what I let go into my mind and my body because of that past experience, and it's made me be aware. But I had a therapist back then. Dr. Herod was not really a therapist, but he was using hypnotherapy. And I can't remember the other doctor's name. I can't, but I know that I was trained and taught in self-hypnosis, mind affirmations, and things like that. I was already writing them at age 10. I still write them today. We've talked about that. My book, I'm formatting my book right now. I know you can't believe it, but I am. So then at that age, I developed a habit of saying positive things to myself. Like if I'm sick, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. That is why when I'm sick, I use that method. I use meditation, and I use that message within myself to feel better. Those are my positive triggers. But the thing about it is, y'all, I learned it because of something bad that was going on in my life. Think about that. I didn't learn it because life was flowing along like a song. And you know what? We don't really learn a lot, do we, when life is flowing along like a song? But I've told you that recently I'm struggling. I am going through some stuff right now. I'm questioning a lot of things. I am trying to figure out, how to move my career along in this world of AI and world of higher interest rate and all the things. I'm working on things. I am trying to figure out how to have some type of balance with at this age, raising 2 teenagers and still running a huge business and developing my other business. It's overwhelming at times, y'all. It really, really is. I feel like it's hard to have somebody to talk to about it. I'm scared to talk to people about it. Therefore, I hold a lot of things inside. That's why thank God for y'all that you're my therapist. I'm still working on the people pleaser in me. I've done some things recently in my life that I'm going to talk about. Not ready to talk about them today. That I said, oh no, not anymore. I'm making this decision for me and my body because it's what I want to do as a grown-ass, happy-ass woman. So we'll talk about that later, but my point is we're all going through things. I'm going through some things right now. I've had some days which were really difficult for me, but every single time every single time. The same things that helped me when I was 8, when I was 9, when I was 10, when I was growing up in alcoholism, when I was growing up in all that stuff are helping me today. They're helping me today. And when I stay in them, when I go back to them, I start developing those positive triggers. It is very easy because the mind is slanted towards the negative because it's a self-preservation thing. Our minds and our brains are made to protect us against the dangers out there in the world. Some of those dangers are no longer there, but our bodies are still reacting to them. So let me look at some of my notes because I want to make sure I don't miss anything for y'all today. Oh, before we do that, let me talk about something. Talk about positive triggers right here. Y'all, I don't have any Pepsi in my house right now because my kids have drank it all. They're supposed to drink 1 a day. I don't think they're adhering to that thing. I may have to put a lock on the door. But so the other day, Kay gave me this darling, actually the other day, a few months ago, Kay gave me this darling little Pepsi ornament, probably was during Christmas time. So I've got this as your visual that I want to thank Buffalo Rock Pepsi for believing in me and sponsoring this happy ass message because without people like them, I would no longer be able to do this, y'all, because it costs money to produce it, to put it on YouTube, and all the things. Speaking of YouTube, this darling little top, if you can see it on YouTube, it's so cute. Came from Can't Hide Pretty. Can't see my shoes, but they're from Gypsy Willow, and the little gnarly necklace is from Gypsy Willow. And I'll show you that later in my outfit of the day if I remember to do it before nighttime. Goodness gracious, Karen. So I'm also very thankful for Holiday Beach Mechanical, who is in my house and in my office all the time because you know when you have a big office and you have a house, things are always needing attention. So thank you to those sweet people. And I'll thank more people at the end of the podcast today. Almost said broadcast because that sounded so fancy. Here's some other things that I love that make me happy. And I want you to make a list of these things. I want you to make a list of the positive triggers and write affirmations around those positive triggers because I promise you it will rewire your brain. It will. Y'all, I'm so happy, and I've talked about this a lot, that no longer are all these things I say woo-woo like people used to tell me when I was younger. That's crazy, Karen. That's crazy stuff. But neuroscience and epigenetics tells us that this stuff is real. This is scientific, y'all. The more you put the things in your brain and your mind and your body and spirit that you want in your life, the more you will see those things. It will happen. So these are some of the things that do it for me. One of my husband's favorite words was zephyr, which means a warm, gentle breeze. So I have this thing about gentle breezes, whether they be warm or whether they be cool. So one day in my spirit, in my soul, a gentle breeze is something that is triggering in a joyful kind of way for me. So trigger doesn't have to be a bad word. Oh, I love it. So one day this is a long time ago, I was running in Wild Heron. And it was hot. I mean, it was humid. It was a day. And I was rethinking my decision to run. What in the world am I doing? And I was running and so hot. And I turned the corner. And when I turned the corner, there was a gentle breeze. There was a gentle, cool breeze. I don't know where it came from. Maybe off the water. And it just hit me in the face. And I smiled. And I smiled because a gentle breeze is a trigger for me. And it made me immediately start thanking God for everything. I said, oh God, thank you for my legs that are able to move, for these arms that are able to pump, for this road that I'm running on, for this neighborhood I'm living in. And it just sent a cascade of amazing emotions. Do you know we can do that? I think we tend as humans to send down a negative emotional cascade of things. I know I have done it before. Lately, I've got something that I've got to confront and talk to somebody about. And so in my head, I think about all the things that they're going to say to me. And they're going to not like me anymore. They're not going to love me anymore. They're going to judge me for my decision. But guess what? Guess what is equally true? guess what is probably more true is that that person loves me and they're going to respect me. And they're going to respect me for being honest with them. And they're going to respect me for not withholding information from them. That is equally true. Probably more true. Because 9 times out of 10, the thing we imagine that is the worst never happens. It never happens. And I hear people say all the time, I go, be creative in your, I'll tell them, be creative in your thought. Think of all the wonderful things. They go, I'm not creative. I go, yes, you are. You are creative. You're just creating the things you don't want, not the things you want. Now, I tend to do that too. But the truth that I hold in my soul and that I believe is 100% true, that you are not stuck and you can change. You can change. I don't care how old you are. Y'all, I'm about to be 67 years old. And that is so exciting to me. I mean, I need to send y'all a picture, a video of me walking up the stairs, overweight, inflamed, out of shape after COVID. I'm a different girl today. I'm a different girl. That same girl was in there, but I was not living the way as to expose that. I wasn't doing the things that I had to do contribute to my physical, mental, and spiritual wellness. You know? And I know we can do those things. We can do them today. We can start right now. So let me see what else I want to talk to you about. So a gentle breeze, the smell of coffee, y'all. I know this is so silly. And I want y'all to share some of yours with me after you watch this podcast. You may see this on Apple Music, YouTube, all the things in about a week or so. But those of you, please tell me now what your positive triggers are and what you're going to make your positive triggers. Coffee. The smell of coffee. That first sip of coffee. Picking out the coffee cup I'm going to use for the day. All of those are just positive triggers that awaken me to one more beautiful day that I get to share this message of hope. I get to enjoy this world that God has created just for me and just for you. Y'all, forgive me for getting excited, but that is just who I am. And in moments like this, I miss my husband. I miss Hugh Smith. I'm sorry, it's been a full moon, so it always reminds me of Hugh. And Hugh understood this about me. He understood these outbursts of enthusiasm. I need to get a sweatshirt that says, I am prone to enthusiasm. That would be the most perfect sweatshirt for me to wear. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe Happy Ass Life needs to do that. But he accepted that about me. So if you see me and I just open with a burst of enthusiasm, sorry, not sorry. That's who I am. So, and this, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, and maybe I've told you before, but I actually, when I go to bed at night, I think about how excited I'm going to be to get up and have that first cup of coffee. So when I hear people talk about giving up coffee, I go, what in the world? Why in the world would you do that to yourself, girlfriend? I don't understand, or boyfriend, whoever you are. So another one for me is colorful, well put together outfits. Just fun, creative outfits. I saw a girl the other day at, oh gosh, I should have gotten her name. I'm so aggravated I didn't. Maybe I'll find out who she was. But she had on the coolest outfit. She'd put together different textures, different patterns, and she looked so sharp. And I bet she felt sharp because she had been creative in her style and her dress. And I love to do that. Sometimes I'll put something on and go, what if people think I'm a little bit too much? And then I stop and I remember, I go, nope, that's who you are. Perhaps if somebody walks into my home and sees all the explosion of color, they think, oh my gosh, what in the world is she thinking? But guess what? It brings me so much joy. So I believe that the more we become exactly who we are inside, that creates a world that everybody wants to live in. It sparks joy, it sparks creativity, it sparks all the things that we all want more of. And I don't know. I just think that's what I got to say today. And I'm going to tell you something. This is a perfect spot to put this in. perfect spot. I'll give you 2 examples, actually 3 examples. So today, when you see my outfit of the day, I have made sure I've incorporated all my sponsors in it. I wear a cute top from Can't Hide Pretty. I've got these darling shoes on from Gypsy Willow. I got the little necklace from Gypsy Willow. And I'm going to wear a cute little sweater, haven't decided which one, from Amora Boutique. And what is so cool, each one of them have their own flair. When I walk into Gypsy Willow, she is so herself. I mean, it is, I see it and I see Christy Kirkland written all over that. It's very eclectic. It's very mindful. It's just filled with unexpected things. When I walk into Can't Hide Pretty, it's very bright and open. And when you have this front garage door thing that you open up and let all the light pour in, the only thing I have to say is all the clothes are up way up high. What's that all about? You know, she does tease me that they don't have children's clothes. So love it, love it. Very, very open and very bright. When I go to Amora Boutique, it is very, very organized, just like me. And it's, those of you who know me know that that is a tease. But it is filled with things that I really can't get anywhere else. It's very pretty, very bright, and it feels a little bougie, if I'm to be honest, a little bougie, you know, and kind of a lot of one-of-a-kind things. So those are such cool things. I love Hue Salon. I love those people. They believe in my happy ass life. They give me products to give to y'all when I make up my favorite things baskets. They make me so happy. I love happy, fun hair. And Hue Salon does that. So those are my happy triggers. All right, we're going to wind up here today with an affirmation because it's 7:07. Yeah, I got to get kids ready for school. So these things that I'm talking about, these triggers, instead of calling them triggers, I'm going to rename them joy buttons. You know when you button something up, it's just complete, it's finished, you button it up, it's ready for the day. These things I'm talking about are going to be joy buttons. So what are your joy buttons? What are the things that when you think about them, when you see them, they bring you joy? Yesterday, I took Beckham to the playground while I picked up Shelton Jet, I picked up Beckham. We went through Chick-fil-A, as they call it. And we had to go to baseball. And while Jet was at baseball, I took Beckham to the playground. And it sparked such joy in me, such joy buttons, when I saw Beckham unabashedly, no fear whatsoever, climb up this rope thing. He wasn't thinking about falling. He was thinking about climbing. I want to be more of that. I want to, every time I think of a challenge, I want to think that I'm climbing. I'm not falling into despair. I'm climbing. So find those joy buttons in your life, and I'm going to read you the affirmation, and then I'm going to end thanking a few more people. When I told you that I love gentle breezes, so this is what I say when I feel a gentle breeze. I will say, thank you, God, for this gentle breeze that you put here just for me. Thank you, God, for this gentle breeze that was put here just for me. You know, and that's just the magic of these joy buttons. So your brain starts scanning the world for beauty. When you're looking for beauty, it starts scanning for beauty. It gives you more kindness. It gives you more joy. It gives you more wonder. I love that. And then it becomes a habit. It becomes a beautiful habit. So this is what my affirmation is for today. It's very simple, and I want to share it with you. Today I choose to notice joy. I train my mind to see beauty, kindness, and wonder. The more I look for the good, the more good I will find. And so it is. Y'all, I want to thank so very much Minutes and Miles, Kevin Kennerson with Bendinghead Mortgage, and I want to also thank Bay Tax for all that they've done for me. Each and every one of these sponsors that I talk about on my podcast are people that bring wonder and joy to my life. They add color. They add confidence. They add peace in so many ways. I want you to share with me what your joy buttons are. And I promise you, as God is my witness, and all the saints of glory, and all the angels of goodness, that when you do this, your joy will be full. And this is what is the wonder of all wonders. When your joy is full, you can allow for the joy of others to be full. Be sweet, y'all.